So first session today is maneuver of 6 temperaments. So the 6 temperaments, which are really sorry, the 6 temperaments we know it's the greed, anger, miserliness, vengeance, immoral sexual passion, right? And you have the superiority, inferiority complex, right? So uh, all those 6 temperaments, they are the results of emotional moods, right? It is very important that those are all, we do not give space to those temperaments, specifically people who are in sky practices. Those are all emotional moods. As long as you are aware, those can be handled. Okay, so let's find out why, how those temperament moods are. Some history about it, right? How that happens, then what are those, and how do we handle it? So there are 3 impurities in human beings, right? One is ego. Ego is the main thing, right? Where you feel as a fraction. You do not feel one with the entire thing. You are, what is ego? You want to put yourself first because your consciousness is operating within your body, within your consciousness. You do not think others are same. Then you want to put yourself first in things. That's ego, right? I am, right? Is ego. So when that happens, we'll see further, right? So automatically you want to give importance to you, irrespective of the actions that you do is good or not. Okay, we'll come back to that. So ego is one, that's the main thing, and the imprints, right? And you are, as whether it is good or bad, the human being evolution, right? We started from, if you have seen the history from previous classes, you have started from non-living things to slowly, when like all the Panchabuddhas have started operating together in a conjunction together, right? Then the life, the energy particles can flow freely. Then it can start feeling. That is when living beings have come up, right? So it started with one cell, right? Basically, one sense beings, two sense beings, then three sense being. Then now we are like sixth sense, right? In the process, we are like except the first sense being, right? Uh, the trees and uh, uh, the vegetable thing, right? Basically, other than the first sense ones, right? The rest of it, the two sense, three sense, four sense, or five senses animals, either uh, reptiles or worms, two sense, right? Reptiles is four sense, right? So other bugs, another thing. They do not know how to make food for themselves. Some use uh, uh, the trees and the vegetables, right? They take this food, but most of them, they kill others for their food. That's the structure, right? That's the evolution. That is not nothing wrong with them because they do not know how to make food, but that's how they have to survive. So that's how it works, right? But in the process, human being has come out of the from five sense animals to human beings are born out of the five sense animals, right? So the imprints are there. make the story short, the imprints from the whole evolution is still there with the human being. So that character of killing something, taking the life of something is there with the human beings. So that habits is makes us do the same act again and again. So mind always operates with what it has done in the past. It is always a conflict between your awareness and what is your habit, right? So if you change your habit, then everything becomes good. So just awareness is not enough. So impurities is another, uh, imprints is another impurities in the human being. And illusion, right? So assuming based on the, you make a lot of assumptions. This is how it is. You do not know the reality. So these are the three impurities in human being, which gives to other emotional moods, and which results in the six temperaments, and which causes all the problems in the world for yourself and others. Something to be understood why it happens. And Maya is the illusions. So needs, habits, and circumstances trigger emotions, right? Based on what we have seen earlier, uh, and specific needs, habits, and circumstances trigger the emotions. Emotions are born when habits overwhelm wisdom, right? So you think that if you eat more, it is not really good, it's not going to really help, or my hunger is already satisfied. But the food is tasty, you want to eat more, then you worry later, okay, I have a stomach problem or I have gained weight. That so what has happened? That habit of eating the tasty food is overwhelmed your wisdom, that you have learned that this is not going to is good for you, right? So emotions are born when habits overwhelm wisdom. So if you have to have the right habits, your wisdom has to be strong. Then the emotions can be controlled. When the emotions are controlled, everything will be good. Okay, now let's understand when you are in emotional moods, what are the six the characters, right? Which is the cause of all the problems for you and others. What are those six temperaments which needs to be addressed? One is greed, right? Um, so you have a these are all born out of desires eventually, right? Greed is you you need basically you are hunger, you need food, right? You need dresses like to wear, and you would need a house, right, to live, to avoid the temperature changes outside, right? So these are all basic needs. Then there are other needs as well. You need a partner, life partner. So yeah, those are all there, right? So all the different needs are there. You need food, everything. The basic needs are there, right? Then you need a yeah. So the basic needs are there. So those needs are, as long as you satisfy those needs, you address those needs, that desire is very important. It is not that you feel hungry, you want to eat tasty food, it is perfectly fine, right? But over the period of time, you get attached to that satisfaction. When you have satisfaction of when your needs are satisfied, you feel happy, you get attached to that, and you want more and more of it, right? So that eventually results in greed. So for that, for to have this happiness, let's say more houses, more better food, whatever you like, some you wanted to travel or anything, right? Eventually, that's eventually like you want more and more of it. Then there's some greed for whatever money, power, whichever gives that, so it gives you that needs, right? So that is about greed. The second is Anger. What is anger? Anger is, so you want something, but there is something which is stopping it from having you that, right? So then your like energy, right? Your energy or the consciousness, right? It wants to break that. It wants to uh, break that which is stopping you, right? That hindrance from achieving what you want. That energy build up, right? That energy build up to remove that obstacle is called anger, right? You put effort, additional effort to get things, it is fine, right? Anger is like an emotional mood. It's like a sudden boiling of your energy where you want to like just crash whatever the object or the person that is being an obstacle in achieving what you want. So that emotion is anger. That has to be definitely avoided. Anger, what happens? Your a lot of your energy gets wasted, and mind gets weak. Miserliness, right? Um, so the human beings, they are allowed to use what they have earned rightfully, right? So whatever you earn, you are allowed to spend. That is perfectly fine. Now, you earn a lot of things. There are a lot of possibilities, right? You sometimes you earn more than you need, not just like 150 percentage of what you need, right? Like 1,000 percentage or 10,000 percentage of what you need, 100 times what you really need, and you do not want to give anything away from this to anyone, and you want to just keep it, even though you clearly know that a lot of people need the things that you have acquired. And in society, not everybody is not going to the same. There are people who cannot do work. There are people who are old but nobody is to take care. There are people like with a different background. So in a society to prosper, the people who have has to give at least 1%, right? The people who are very rich, they can give more. So now what is miserliness? Miserliness is is the obsession, right, of what you have earned and not willing to give away to anybody. That is not good at all. Immoral sexual passion, right? So we definitely everybody needs a partner after you have crossed the a certain age, right? So you need a partner. That's how marriage and everything. The social setup is already there. But whatever the reasons, right? You have some people, you have more abnormal desire for the opposite sex. It's a desire, right? Definitely, when you have a relationship, it gives you happiness, but eventually you get attached and you want more and more of it, abnormal desire, right? That can result in energy waste, complex, like creates problems in the relationship, right? It is generally not a good thing, right? So this has to be handled properly as well. We shouldn't give space for it. Next is vanity, right? Vanity is you for everybody in the society have different positions, different amount of wealth, different responsibilities, different physical strength, different set of friends, family, everything is there. Vanity is just telling others, or you kind of showing others, feeling others, or you feel that you are better than somebody, or you are lesser than somebody, right? That is vanity. So whatever you are, I mean, it's just a responsibility given to you. You just play that character. You don't need to feel you are better, bigger than somebody. You are lesser than somebody. This is not good. It's a mental problem that has to be avoided as well. Vengeance. Vengeance is there are anger is we talked about when you want to remove an obstacle that is stopping you from achieving what you wanted, right? Vengeance is there is an obstacle which is stopping you from achieving what you want, but then the obstacle is so big, right? Or you cannot, or the situation is such that you cannot really show your anger. That builds up over the period of time as a vengeance to really looking for an opportunity to really cause troubles to the obstacle, right? That's vengeance. It's kind of building within you, building fire within you to attack the obstacle at some point or the person. Right? So that's vengeance. The all the worldly problems by individual, by the wars or the country level problems, everything is because of one of these things. Okay, so everybody, if these characters are understood, and if we can really, because any of these things, right, even greed, where you want to do more and more, you spend a lot of your energy for it, and you do not really enjoy it, right? And what happens is that at some point when you have a lot of greed, maybe we'll go in detail, right? When you have a lot of greed, you will not be able to achieve everything, and your life becomes dissatisfactory. Similarly, other things, right? So those have to be definitely avoided. Evil deeds are performed when the temperaments, these characters, rule the mind. Happiness and prosperity are ruined, right? Yeah. So desire is the eventually, if you look at another perspective, right? The basic desire, which is needed, right? You want to do things which is needed for as long as the time you are born, the time the life energy is has started operating within a body, automatically there is a sensation, right? Because the life energy is operating within the body. There is a uh, um, the life energy particle and the body cells. They when they start operating, there is a friction, there is a feeling. Once there is a feeling, there is a need. So the needs and desires are basics. They are required. Right? Without that, we cannot live. But we shouldn't allow them to transform into the six characters. What is greed? The desires, like we inordinate desire, that is more and more. Anger, the force that wells up when desires are stopped or thwarted. Myselfness, right? It is a keeping for oneself even at the cost of others' welfare. Desire to keep everything within yourself. Immoral sexual passion, it is the abnormal desire for the opposite sex, other sex. Vanity, it is comparing oneself with the others in terms of wealth, fame, or position. Vengeance, it is anger waiting for the right opportunity to express itself. So desires is the basic thing, right? So Buddha said that do not have desires, right? At a high level at that point in time, right? Yeah, right desire. So yeah, it has to be in the desire is the cause of all the problems. We cannot say desire is the cause of all the problems if you go in detail. Desires not controlled is the cause of all the problems. All the reason for all these characters, it is cause of all the problems. So sometimes when we read the old quotings, desire is the cause of all the problems, then it confuses. Right, desire is needed, but keep it to a level that is needed for you, that is not affecting you and others. Right, always the twofold moral principle is the key. Any activity that you do, it shouldn't cause problems for you or anyone else now or in future, right? So as long as the desires are desires follow that path, it is all good. Any questions so far? Anyway, we will continue. Kulshan Singh, Rajyama, any questions so far?
Can continue, Prabhu. Thank you.
Okay. So yeah, this is the poem from right. Needs give rise to desires, and thought desires turn into rage. Keeping for oneself is miserliness and excessive desires for the other sexes. Less comparisons lead to vanity, and suppressed anger paves the way for vengeance. In short, wisdom, it is the ability to regulate emotions with sarcasticity. Knowledge is power. So wisdom helps transform the temperaments as below, right? So as we have seen, based on our imprints, the ego is still there, right? The three impurities, right? The illusion, the imprints, right, and the past imprints, which is not really a uh, it is not for the success, right? We have the awareness, but the past history that we have is the imprints is not that good, right? And the ego is there. I You want to put yourself first, right? So in the emotional state, it is quite possible it will come up, but the awareness is the one which has to immediately transform into it, right? Uh, Whatever is there, you make it into the good. So how does that awareness really transforms this emotional state? What is the state that would result in? Greed has to become contentment. Okay, you feel this is right enough. So this is good enough for me, right? Then you feel satisfied, and whatever you want more and more, the normal right things, you will still be able to achieve. Actually, you'll be able to achieve more if you do not have too much greed. When you have too much greed, you want to achieve too many things. Your focus is not there with few things, so you actually miss achieving more dissatisfaction, right? Actually, contentment is better. It's not that you contentment means you are in a job, I'm this is good enough. If you want to become a CEO, you go for it, right? You go for it, but you have to understand what is your level, what are your current capabilities, all right? Whether what skills are required to become a CEO, and when does that happen? Okay, you are right now in a, let's say, manager or whatever the engineer, whatever the position, right? Um, so how does that happen? What is the path? So you need to really understand the whole flow. Then you execute it. You do not get into emotional moods. You know that it is going to happen. It is possible to happen. That you do not assume that it will happen, right? It can happen in maybe 10 years or 15 years, right? Then you work towards that. And you need to realize that it can happen, it cannot happen because there are many possibilities. So yeah, greed, you can have bigger desires, always bigger desires are better. But at the same time, it shouldn't be a like greed, I want everything, right? So yeah. Anger has to be tolerance. So there is nothing never achieved through anger. Yeah, of course, there are sometimes you have to show at least the the anger in a way. It should feel like anger to others, but you shouldn't get really emotional, specifically with kids or your subordinates, or sometimes, right, wherever there is a situation where you need to show your frustration, you can show anger, but you shouldn't get emotional, really emotional and be angry. You should have to show how to show anger, right? With a kind of an acting anger, but you do not hurt yourself, right? You do not get emotional. So you can be like that for in specific cases, but mostly tolerance is the state, awareness state, right? When that happens, tolerance has to be there. And it used to be say that there is a boundary for tolerance. Maharishi says that there is no boundary for tolerance. So myself is charity, right? So there has to be some charity that has to be there for as awareness state. Okay, you have a lot, you give some. Immoral sexual passion, chastity, right? So the relationships, we all know that it has consequences, right? The whole society setup is based on that. And there are kids born, a lot of complexities, right? So, so maintaining the social setup is very important. So if it is not good with one partner, you change partner. And in a very rare situations where it is not even possible to make the current thing work, then you go for the different partner. But there has to be it has to be maintained. That chastity has to be maintained. For it said that, right, any individual or the country which do not give importance to this eventually will fall, right? So this has to be given its importance. Vanity, you feel you make everybody feel equal, right? You do not get uh, you do not feel like, oh, I'm not good, or you at the same time you do not feel like, okay, I'm better than everybody. Everybody is traveling in their own path, and it need not be the same. So you should feel equal and give equal respect. Vengeance, it has to be for forgiveness. So okay, whatever has happened, it has happened. So let's just forgive and move on, right? That will be the. So all these things, awareness states, it is not really, it is not only helping somebody, you are actually helping yourself, right? So a lot of the times we have some habits till we get, okay, really get affected because of that habit. We continue to engage in it, right? And a lot of times it becomes too late when we start the corrections. It could be a habit of like drug addictions or any of the things, right? Any of the habits, right? So at least in Sky practices, we can recover quickly, but realizing that what is your that weak point, or that emotional side. Everybody will have one or two, right? Where that there is a there is a weakness in you, right? Or the emotional state where you tend to get into those emotional states. So understanding that it takes time, right? It is easy to say it is part of the character. So it takes time, but awareness, having that awareness. Okay, this is where, looking at the past experiences, right? This is where I falter. So how do I be more aware, and how do I handle the situation? That's being in Skype practices. Definitely, that is possible. Okay. So this temperaments not under control lead to dishonesty, right? Uh, Stealing, murder, gambling, immoral acts, right? So yeah, so eventually it becomes uh, it gets into more further problems if it is not controlled. First of all, those itself is a problem, but when we give rise more and more to that, it gets into this all this. sins. Okay, we started from the start, but anyway, as a graph, right? This is how it happens. Ego is right. You want to put yourself first. I am right. Then you want to control things. I right. Then you want to have you want to be like powerful. That is I. Then you want to have things, everything's for you, yourself. That is mine, right? All this too, from this to all the everything else bonds, right? If you take miscellaneous, right? Miscellaneous, it is mine, right? I want to have everything, right? Similarly, greed, right? Greed. So it's all mix of that. Yeah, we can't say that because of mine or the I am, right? So mix of this. I want to be have the power. I want to control everything, right? I want to be the top of everything, and everything has needs to be for me only, right? Those two characters born out of ego, which is natural of ego when it is not controlled, right? Results in all these six temperaments. Eventually, when these six temperaments are not controlled over the period of time, they result in all these things: dishonesty, stealing, murder, gambling, and immoral acts. So you understand the origin and outcome of the temperaments, right? All these very interesting things, right? When we look at our daily life, like uh, I sometimes look at, okay, what I have done, okay, last 3 years, okay, I should have done. Why did I waste so much time for last 6 months not doing this important thing, right? Not doing that. Why did I? So when we look at things, a lot of times it is the awareness that is missing, right? It is not only these six characters, right? A lot of things are there. The work-life balance, right? Uh, or like how much importance you give to family per and you, right? How much time you are spending for yourself, right? How much time you are really doing it for what do you really need? What do you want to really achieve in this life? Are we working towards that? If we really look at things, why I did certain thing. So a lot of times the awareness is missing. All right, we need to continuously learn the lessons. That awareness is the key for everything. Not on, and in this for this character's transformation, also awareness is the key. So we need to understand the origin and outcome of the temperaments. Definitely, they are not to those temperaments are not going to help. That's something to be understood, right? And we need to have a practice for transforming the evil temperaments into the noble qualities. So greed. So we are talking about these things, right? We all know, but greed. Let's have some more details. Right? Unfulfilled desires keep mounting. Right? If you have greed, that's what happens. Mounting desires for material possessions, fame, power, process transform into greed. It is important to plan for betterment in life, but doing so without improving one's knowledge and skills is mere average, right? So yeah, it's good to have desires, but plan what do you need does not affect anybody else, and how do you do it? Right? Plan and execute. Ill effects of greed. It stands in the way of realizing the purpose of life. You focus all the time. What do you want? Like you do not spend time improving yourself and everything. It destroys peace and skills. Eventually, it destroys the confidence level goes down when you are not able to achieve the things that you wanted. Right? It destroys peace, and eventually, the skills also is destroyed. Knowledge becomes a mere tool for acquiring wealth. So even whatever knowledge you have, you just use it for the wealth. You do not use it for the betterment of you and others. You have a lot of greed. Greed had to be overcome through the practice of moralization of desires and meditation. Contentment has to replace greed. Contentment is the flip side of greed. Okay, so otherwise, like if you have too many desires, you spend a lot of time, no satisfaction, and you do not focus on the purpose of your actual life or what you really want to do it, right? So yeah, so greed has to be replaced with contentment. Anger, it is a force that builds up when desire is thwarted, right? Yeah, anger devours mind and body, right? Burns it fast in self-defense. So anger, when you have anger, your energy builds up, right? All the cells have the life energy particles in your body. They start rotating at a higher speed, and when something rotates at a higher speed, the next energy particle that the distance between the energy particles becomes higher. So your astral body, right, the body of your all the energy particles, it expands, but not when you cool down again. Not all the so some of the energy particles even projects, right, and the astral body projects out of your body. And when your anger goes away, not all the energy particles again comes back to your body. So a lot of energy is wasted in the anger. It affects your organs and everything, and it affects definitely others as well. Patience is the only virtue that can overcome anger, right? Anger isn't brought up any good anywhere, anytime. Forgiving the evil ones is the best. But of course, you can show anger in some cases where with the kids or your subordinates when to make them work. Like it has to be like an acted anger, not like real emotional anger. Blessing is important thing for overcome anger. So if somebody is causing more anger to you, more causing troubles to you, so you bless them. So it creates a better relationship with them. Blessing uh, helps with removing the anger. Mercilessness. It is keeping things for oneself even at the cost of the others' welfare. Mercilessness should be overcome through the practice of analysis of thoughts and meditation when it transforms into charity. Yeah, when you don't give, and there are a lot of people around you who are in need, the curse waves will definitely affect you. That's why a lot of rich people cannot, they say that they will not be able to sleep. The people who are around them, right, who do not have food to eat, they curse. This person is staying in this big house, having everything. I'm not having anything. That becomes a curse. So charity is very important. The good thoughts have to be coming to you, right? So 1% of the income should be given away as charity for helping the others. Rich people can give more, right? At least 1%. Others should provide at least 1% of what they have. Immoral sexual passion. It is the inordinate desire for the other sex. It is an ugly form of desire, right? You are like uncontrolled desire, right? It leads to unchaste behavior. Chastity is safeguarded through marriage. Chastity is equally applicable to both husband and wife. Yeah, Coral says greatness like chastity in man has to be safeguarded through discipline and veracity. Vanity. Vanity is it is comparing oneself with others in terms of physical strength, wealth, prestige, fame, duty, and responsibility. So yeah, look at like in the olden days, uh, yeah, the English people were treating the Indians as just an mere servants, and they do not, and we the Indians think that the English people are superior to them. It need we need not. It should not. It need not be that way. Equality. Vanity has to be overcome through the practice of analysis of Everything fundamentally comes to analysis of thoughts, right? Basically, awareness, realizing who am I, and meditation, right? So eventually, yeah, that's a good point, right? Realizing who am I. Eventually, everybody is the same source of everybody is the same. So um, yeah, you need to understand that. Then there are different situations or different people are in different state, but the source of everybody is the same. So you don't. There is no need to feel superior or inferior. Feelings of equality stem from the need to cooperate and assist. Vengeance. Pent up anchor waiting to find expression transformed into vengeance. Forgiving all those who have hurted us and driven us to anger is best. Right. Yeah, and eventually, when anger is avoided, eventually vengeance goes away. Right. So blessings and forgiveness is the cure for vengeance. So maneuvering these temperaments and transforming them into noble qualities helps rid the soul of the imprints. Eventually, you are not creating more bad imprints. So you can rise higher. The conscious can rise higher, and yeah. So when then the imprints goes away, right? So essential for eradicating the temperaments, clarity in thoughts, actions, awareness, right? Awareness is the key of what is happening, whether it is good for me or not, and analyzing the thoughts. What is the reason for this um desire? Why is it really needed? What can it cause? Right? Is my action right? Why did I do it? So addressing the root cause of things, analyzing the thoughts would be really helpful. Not only in temperaments, in everything that what you do. Conclusion: awareness regarding the process of transformation undergone by the divine, as well as the ability to live in harmony with the others, helps ward off the temperaments. It is important to identify our shortcomings and get ourselves off them through corrective measures for success in life. Be blessed by the divine. Okay, let's discuss if there are any questions around this topic.
Be blessed by the divine. Yeah. Thank you very much. Very enlightening session as usual. Um, I especially like the idea of linking temperaments to eventually sins and how early control of it can help subside that. My question is since ego is controlling these temperaments, the awareness does not come to begin with. Even like if we analyze it, like sometimes I feel I have, say, a vanity issue, but I can logically put it forth, but I don't believe in it, and I continue to be vain. So, what are those two, three practices in awareness that will help me truly look at it and say that, yes, I have this and I have to work on it?
Yeah. So eventually, like whenever when you start analyzing the results, right? When you really think about it, and the first thing we need is like we need some calm time, right? Where you have time, you think about, wow, what is uh, you know, like when your awareness increases when you do the meditation, right? When you are doing the introspection courses, you understand the how the whole evolution has come up. and you are more and more aware, right? When you are calm and when you are doing some meditation exercise and everything, right? Your mind is able to think to a certain way. It's not like you can think everything clearly, but we are able to think better than we are at least able to see what is going on, right? So the meditation increases awareness, the meditation introspection. So we definitely need to do those practices. When you do that, then we understand that okay, this is how that has been my nature, right? I'm I've been doing this, right? Anger or vanity or any of these things, right? So I'm doing this. Then you look at okay, what does it help me, right? Or does it affect others? And is it right or wrong, right? First of all, you will look at is it right or wrong? Is that the way I'm thinking or I'm behaving with somebody, is it really right or does it cause any is it, first of all, is it right or wrong? Once you will any of these characters, right, vanity or any of those things, you will realize that it causes harm, right? Eventually you will realize that the other person feels, you may make feel other person feel inferior, right, sometimes, or you might feel that you are inferior, you are causing troubles to yourself, right? um, so any of those things, you realize that okay, this is not really the truth, right? This is not the way it needs to be, right? Even if somebody has so many things, what finally what we need, if you really look at what we need, we will have specific things, that's all, right? Even the person who has so many things, that person may not be able to take 2 months of vacation and do what he or she wants, right? So everybody, we cannot really compare and say that somebody is living a better life, somebody is living a not good life, right? Actually, with whatever we have, we can make it. If you have awareness, you can do things right, right? So coming back to your question, so once you realize that okay, this is not really the right, slowly you take that effort. Okay, I will. This is not really good for anyone, either for me or others, and this has become a habit for. It has become kind of my nature. What will happen, right? Once you get affected, uh, definitely it will create problems. Okay, once you have got affected to a great extent, then you will feel it. You will realize it quickly. But before it affects you a lot, it is better we stop that at some point or reduce it to the extent where it does not harm as much, right? That would be better. Eventually, it is going to create problem. But uh, having that awareness would be good, Amma. I don't know whether I answered your question, but the awareness and the meditation, those should help you understand what is going on. Then from there, you take the necessary actions.
Definitely helpful. A little bit, then I would like to expand on the meditation part because, again, for me, awareness is there, but a lot of times you carry that temperament from a very long time, right? What you
Yeah,
call
yeah, yeah,
imprints
yeah.
from childhood. So, like judging someone, like when I do that, I constantly check myself, but I continue to do it, right? And I think judging someone is straight away vanity, like a sense of superiority that I'm better and, this person, look at that. That's so hard to get rid of for me. So, when you are doing meditation, say, how do you address this? One is like, bless the person. Do you like do a specific form of meditation? How do
No,
you
I
take
think
care of that?
it is now, as long as now you have lot of times what happens in the biggest when you actually do in this there is no nothing specific for vanity, right? When you do this in these
Yeah.
practices on a regular basis, you get often thoughts, right? You get often thoughts. Okay, I still do it. How do I solve the problem? Lot of times the answers of all these things, right? Six things, right?
Mm,
It has to come from you only. The
mm,
answers, if it was there in a paper somewhere, we would have all read. It's all solved, right? So it is true that if all, well, let's say somebody has a problem, there is something in them that is triggering, right? Something only when you constantly think over the period of time, it won't solve. I won't say that it would get any of these things, right? Specifically, one of this, like you might have multiple. You would reduce a few of the other things very quickly, but there will be one or two which will be
right.
like your character, right? It takes time, and you will have to find the answer. Two ways people find the answer, right? One is that at some point they will, if they are constantly in this kind of practices, they will find it in a sooner time, right? Maybe that also could
Mm,
be yes, but there are sometimes where the people realize when they get affected big time, right? A lot of people
mm,
who left smoking only after they got impacted fully, right? That is when they give the smoking, give up the smoking, right? Similarly for other practices, drug, any of the things, right? Only they got affected and like every side of it is against them, then they realize it quickly what is going on, right? uh, yeah, two ways, right? Either you get affected to a great extent and you get a realization, or kind of over the period of time, you something will click at some point. Okay, you realize that okay, this is the reason I'm thinking this way, and okay, I got the point. So this point is not right. That is has to come from you. That's the reason all this meditation, everything, right? The awareness, the program is running within you. Only you know the bug and where to fix it. Okay, we can
mm,
only give the high level solution. Okay, apply this software, right? I mean, if you're in the software industry, we can put everything.
mhm,
Eventually, in the fix, right? Somewhere the fix has to be, the change has to be done by you. Specifically the ones which are harder ones, the easy ones, right? Like let's say blessings and all,
mm,
that practices has been given, right? But there are specific things over the period of time you will get that answer or not. So and you don't need to be quick for it. I mean that this awareness itself will not make you fall. Okay, so you are not going to fall, right? But you are not, you want to remove it itself, but that will happen over the period. You don't need to be really worried too much about
mm. Thank you very, very much.
it. Okay. Any other questions? Actually, we have a 9 o'clock. The the Sky USA Masters thing. So next sessions we'll see how we can complete at 9 o'clock. It will take more time. Any other questions? Rajema, I'll go. Any specific? Okay, I think no other question.
Thank you. I'm okay.
Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, okay. All right, all right. So let's go to the next session. Yeah, today Venkatesh Kumar is busy with uh, the monthly satsang, so that's why he couldn't join. So I'll continue with the next session. B plus. Yeah, Venkatesh Kumar is there. Like his experience is always. It's great to hear from him. Yeah,
Definitely. He has this
yeah,
childlike
yeah.
enthusiasm towards spirituality. So it's lovely
Yeah,
to just
yeah,
get that flavor.
he's correct. He has that started early, right, in the whole process, and he has been
Okay.
doing regular. So that has that the multiple trends, right? That experiences definitely helps.
Yeah.
So yeah,
But fully enjoy your sessions as well, Prabhu. Yeah.
thank you. So let's go back to the next one. We have seen the next this one, right? As part of, if you have attended the who are my sessions, right? Consciousness is God. Is should have been already talked about, but anyway, we'll go through. Uh, we'll go through again. So, as we have seen before, all the things in the universe, living and non-living, are manifestations of the divine, right? Um, the divine, the static state or primordial state, right, is eventually transformed into the because it has specific qualities, right? It's endless, it has great potential, it has a self-compressing nature, right? It is constantly self-compressing itself. From there, the particles, energy particles came up. Combination of different energy particles is different Panchabuddhas, different things have formed, planets, everything was formed. Combination of when the energy particles and the space, the ratio, depending on the ratio, they become one of the Panchabuddhas, water, solid, air, and other things, right? Fire, right? So combination of different Panchabuddhas, like different planets, everything is formed, right? Endless, almost like endless, right? Universe is, you can say it is still bound, but the divine is endless, at least for our imagination. We do not see how it would end anywhere, right? So it is the manifestations of the divine that has to be understood. And yeah, when the Panchabuddhas are in a specific combinations, the energy particles flow in that setup, in that uh, 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 thing, right? And when the energy particles flow, the the divine or the consciousness within that energy particles can start feeling what is going on. Yeah, that has become a mind. Then eventually, like, multiple senses beings have come into picture, right? So living, non-living, everything is manifestations of the divine. That has to be understood. Consciousness is God, right? So that intelligence or that consciousness, right? That's what is God. It's what is said. So we'll see in the slides how what is being talked about. The soul within is God, right? Simoda described the manner in which to perceive it. Saint Valhalla composed poems after merging with it. They are the noble souls and who realized the divine and lived a life of virtue, right? The three imperceptibles, right? Absolute space. We cannot. It's there. Absolute space, right? The divine state. It is there, but nobody. There is no scientific. Uh, like nothing can really um, capture it, right? You cannot see it, but it would only based on assumption we are. It's either okay, everything is there. So this is what is absolute space, right? You cannot like really feel it or see it. Primordial state, life energy particles, right? From there, because of self-compressive force, the energy particles have come, and when it is operating within your human body, then it is life energy particles transformed into life energy, right? Energy particles and magnetism, right? So to operate, one is that like forming of everything, right? All the planets, living beings. The other one is the energy to operate them, right? So that is magnetism. When in every energy particle, when they are rotating in a high speed, everything in the universe rotates. When they are rotating in a high speed, when there is they're creating a spreading wave, right? That through the friction with the nearby absolute space, and that spreading wave, it kind of merges. It is merges with the divine state, absolute space, That force, right, the absolute space, it acts as uh, uh, pushing force, or pulling or stopping it, right? And the spreading waves tries to push away. So the combination of that's a force that is called magnetism, right? That's the source of energy for everything. So the magnetism is the what transforms everything in the universe, everything in the human being. It is the source of energy for everything. So this is also cannot be seen. Life energy particles also cannot be seen by any of the science instruments, right? And there is a nice story, maybe for a minute, I can tell you about it, right? So uh, 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 there is a rich person who was planning to travel in a train, and he's going to carry a lot of money with him. And this was somehow got to know by a thief. So he booked a ticket next to the next seat, right? Next to the person where the rich person is traveling. So the thief was also traveling in the same train. So the rich person in the evening, like it's a overnight travel, right? So he took the money, he counted the money, right? When he was counting the money, it's a lot of money, right? So the thief thought that okay, those are they were the only two people in that couch, in that compartment, right? So the thief thought that okay, I don't want to be disturbance for counting the money. Let me go back somewhere. So he went to the restroom and other places, and came back. So then the I mean like the rich person has put the money back inside, and he was sleeping there. Then when the rich person goes to the restroom, like he goes to restroom and other places, right? The thief was searching everywhere, right? Rich person's suitcase, pillows, everywhere, and the whole seat everywhere. He couldn't find the money. And before he comes back, then there is when thief goes back to his seat. Then say similarly in the night, later in the night, there is person when the thief goes away, when he comes, like he is again counting the money, he sees that okay, he's counting the money, then he goes back, thief goes back, right? Again, he's counting the money and he has put it and he's sleeping. When the rich person again goes to somewhere outside of his seat, right? The thief looks for the money everywhere, he cannot find it. Then finally, the morning comes again. Uh, uh, the thief asks, "Sir, I'm a thief, and actually I came to take away your money. But I saw you counting the money, but I couldn't find where it is. Where did you keep it?" The rich person said, "I know you are a thief. That's why I didn't keep the money within me. I kept the money under your pillow." So the truth is, we always look for things other than inside us. We always look for the things. Similarly, the key truth, absolute space to understand the life energy particles and to understand these are the three things which run this, which is the source, run this whole universe. The secrets, right? They can be only understand going within ourselves. That's the reason for that story. Similarly, that's why meditation or looking within yourself is all going to give this answers. Um, yeah, four qualities of the divine state. A lot of things would be a repeat of the who are my sessions. Yeah, let's continue to go through. Planum, force, consciousness, time. Right? Planum is like endless, right? And force, it has energy, right? And self-compressing force and consciousness. And this has a consciousness, right? That's when you say consciousness, it is aware, right? Um, it, it is not dumb, right? It does it has that knowledge or whatever the consciousness, right? and timeless. Consciousness is one of the characteristics. Consciousness, you can call it as order of things, right? You do things in the right way, following the principles, right? Consciousness is kind of orderliness, or the knowledge, or whichever you call it. Let's go through the slides further. Consciousness has transformed into the formative dust, energy particles, Panjabhutas. So when there is no proper that arivu in Tamil, consciousness, right? When there is no consciousness, it does not transforms into its proper structures, right? Because of that consciousness, like it is formed into the formative dust, energy particles, Panjabhutas, different things, which is living beings and the sixth sense in humans, right? So all transformation, all because of this consciousness. The energy is always there, right? The energy is there. It is endless. It's all there, right? But this consciousness is what makes it interesting. That what makes it properly everything happen. Things happen in the proper order, right? Proper creations. Everything is the reason of this consciousness characteristics of the divine state. Or you can, to keep it short, like this consciousness itself, you can call it as is the God, right? Because that's the one which is doing everything, right? Even in the human beings, this consciousness is what is giving the results, right? As a genetic center, it stores all what you are doing, and eventually the results are given by the genetic center. If you have done all bad, the thoughts you get are also bad thoughts, and you get into troubles. You are not suddenly going to get good thoughts, right? So this consciousness eventually is acting as the cause of the creation. It is it's running everything, right? And it is actually giving the results for everything. That's why this is consciousness is called God. Journey of consciousness. The whole journey, the evolution, everything is, you can call it as journey of that consciousness or that knowledge or the intelligence or whatever, whichever way you want to call it. It forms into the formative dust, then it becomes energy particles because of the self-compressive force, different energy particles, different combinations, different Panjabhutas. Then it becomes the entire universe, right? Different combinations of different things becomes universe. Then living beings, then human. Consciousness works as the order of function in all the things. What that means is that our Earth cannot go closer to Sun because of the force or that order of function, right? That is consciousness. That is intelligence, right? It works as the ability to perceive in the living beings. Eventually, how does the perception happens? How does the feelings happen? What does it really feel? So let's say you are looking at something, right? You are looking at a picture of an elephant. Not the picture of you are looking at an elephant. Um, so the elephant, like that goes to the in the eyes. When it reaches eye, when you look at through your eyes, very very small picture of tiny picture of elephant is there. You can see it in your eyes. Then it goes further tiny, right? It captures that, the eyes captures that entire thing, like based on your past experience, right? Okay, this size, color, this is what everything, right? This is strong, whatever thing, right? It goes all with all those information, it goes to brain, right? Brain like arts all the information. Then and eventually in a wave form, in a very condensed form, it stores into your genetic center, which is in the Muladhara, right? In your center of your body, um, just below the spinal cord. So eventually it stores as a condensed form there. It is also stored in your brain and everywhere. So what is helping you to perceive these things? This consciousness, that's intelligence, right? And let's say you are eating some good food today, tomorrow you are eating something similar food. What does it compare, right? The consciousness, right? The intelligence within you, right? Um, that is what is actually perceiving it. What does it feel, right? Eventually, so one thing to be understood is the consciousness, right, which is in the static state. We talk about the energy particles which is rotating at a high speed, right, within our body. Each energy particles, million trillions of energy particles. Each energy, anything that rotates, there is a point at the center which is not rotating. Okay, that is still divine state. The one which is not rotating is still divine state, right? So eventually, all our energy particles within our body has something at the center, which is divine side, which is acting as the consciousness, which can feel things. When something is pushed, you are feeling some sensations come. Uh, eh, what is it that is feeling? It is that consciousness within you, which is the divine state within you, which is actually feeling it, right? So any pressure or anything, it is felt by that consciousness and the mind, right? The consciousness, that's the that extension of that is mind, and this consciousness is connected with everywhere else. It also functions as the magnetism, right? So consciousness, how does it operate? In non-living things, pattern, precision, regularity, right? If if there is a chemical, it has specific characteristics, right? So there is a precision, there is a pattern, there is a structure, right? There is a regularity. If something goes, like maybe it will live for, it will stay for like certain years, it will goes away, it goes away, right? So there is a pattern, there is a precision, there is a regularity in non-living things. In living things, along with the other three things on the above, there is a capability of even in non-living things, right? And when you say regularity, precision, right? If it has to, let's say, sun and the from let's say moon and earth, uh, uh, the moon exactly rotates, right? I mean, like there is a pattern it follows, right? It rotates at a specific speed. Every 29 days it rotates every 29 days, right? So and it maintains its distance between the earth so that it does not it so it follows like even the non-living things. There is a pattern, there is a precision, there is a regularity, right? So what is that? What is the cause of that? It is the consciousness, which is part of the real divine state, right? Which is part of the divine state. In the living beings, it is working as cognition, right? Seeing things, experience, analyzing the things, the divine state. So eventually, the mind, which is the extension of the life energy particles, right? The consciousness, which is within the life energy particles, that is what is actually acting as the mind, cognition, experience, and discrimination. And the humans, self-realization. Only in the human, it can realizing the consciousness. That's what they say, right? Realizing yourself, realizing the soul, realizing the consciousness. This consciousness is operating everything. In the human beings, we have the capability to really understand how it is actually doing it, realizing the consciousness itself. That gives like satisfaction, that gives complete understanding of things, that gives complete pleasure. Consequences in the form of pleasure or pain follow every action. Actions produce imprints that are stored in the genetic center. They expand to produce thoughts, words, and deeds. Whatever you do, you are again and again. Even if you are sitting quiet, whatever you have done in the past, those comes as a thoughts, and it acts, makes you act, words, deeds, right? So it's constantly whatever you have done. Uh, that in the genetic center constantly it expands depending on the mental frequency that you are in. It is the center for the circulation of the life energy and biomagnetism as well as the storage for the sexual vital fluid. It is the genetic center, right? This is where the thoughts, everything comes, right? So whatever you do, again, it creates some thoughts, whatever you have stored, then again the experiences gets stored there. It's like a computer, right? It's the place where the imprints of the actions performed with the help of the biomagnetism, brain, sense organ, and mind consciousness are stored. It is the chip, right? If you say CPU is your brain, your sensory organs are like your input, output thing, right? Our monitors and other things. So eventually, it is then the genetic center is the chip. Body is the result of the. Okay, it's we can say imprint. Say the body is the result of the imprints, right? Life progresses on the basis of Sanchita, Pradartha, and Agamiya karma of a person, right? So Sanchita karma is whatever you have acquired from your parents. Prarabdha is what you are done in your current life. And Agamiya is what is the possibility that could happen next. We carry nothing but the imprints as we come into and depart the world. Yeah, Nagarigam or culture, right? Nagarigam is Indian word, culture, right? Made of three words, Na, Agam, and Rigam, right? Meaning tongue, soul, and mind. The three should work together to produce exemplary behavior. Art of moral behavior, right? Compared to the last one, right? Culture is the art of moral behavior. Morality is not doing anything that can harm oneself or another, physically or mentally, immediately or subsequently. Yep. So mistakes are often on the account of ignorance, indifference, emotions. Yeah. Ignorance is like you can say you still sometimes you do not know at all what is right, and sometimes you know what is right, you still don't follow it. Okay, we don't care about it, right? Indifference. Then emotions is like it's like your habits overcome your wisdom, right? So you are going by the emotions, right? So you do not so those are the causes for all the mistakes, right? You do not know things, you do not care about the things, indifference, and you are following your emotions, not following your wisdom, right? That's the cause of all the mistakes. Result of deficiency of knowledge. So knowledge is the key. The consciousness within yourself. The mind is the extension of the soul, right? Your consciousness. The consciousness is everything. It is powerful, right? It's like it's the God, right? But the mind, which is operating within your body, as long as when it merges with the consciousness, right? Its source, then you are as powerful as God, right? Or us, you are like at least you are still within your body, right? But you realize how things work, but you are like you are part of the God. You become like if you can merge your mind, which is operating outside within yourself, to your the consciousness, which is the cause for all the creations of everything. And consciousness in a person is connected with everything, right? Everything that rotates, there is a part at the center which is not rotating, which is divine state, and that is consciousness. That consciousness is linked with everything, right? So anything that happens, it affects you as well. Knowledge should work hand in hand with the laws of nature. That is spiritual existence. Philosophical knowledge is born of inference, where intuitive knowledge is confirmed through a process of comparison with available or existing facts. Yeah. So there are few things where the philosophy is where you cannot like prove it, right? The divine state or the life energy particle, but then you prove it by comparing different things, right? And the existing facts. Then you come up with a conclusion. Okay, this is how it is, right? And it does not that knowledge, whatever you are coming up, right? It does not. Uh, uh, it aligns with everything else. That's philosophy. Philosophical wisdom is realizing the primordial state, absolute truth that existed and continues to exist before and beyond the four dimensions of time, distance, volume, and speed. This knowledge is important for a humanitarian existence. Yeah, the understanding the entire thing, right? That we are part and parcel of the entire existence, right? And we have a starting period and an ending period is very important for a humanitarian existence, right? Otherwise, yeah, as if we think that we are going to live for like 10,000 years and not doing the things that we wanted, right? Uh, so that we want to do, right? Of course, without affecting others, right? With taking care of the family and everything. But at the same time, we have to realize that it's all we are all part and parcel of the same existence, and there is a starting and ending period. And realizing the consciousness within that period is important, and doing what you want is also important. Okay, coming back to the part, all right? So the ego, right, and what you feel when you say I am, right? It is the consciousness, right, within you that is what is saying it is I am, right? Actually, the I am is I'm the consciousness. You are actually the consciousness, right? That is if mind is you is where your all mind and the imprints is you, and consciousness is the fundamental source of it. Consciousness is the static state. The mind is the dynamic level, right? Consciousness perceives with the help of the mind. Eventually, consciousness is the what it perceives in the center in the life energy particles. Perceptions take place as the mind extends through the senses organs. The I, therefore, is not the mind, body, or life energy particles. It is the consciousness. Right? It is the static state, or you can say, yeah, we know it is the static state with this source of and everything, right? But in the consciousness within that steady state, that is what is saying that I am I. You are the consciousness which is God, divine state, the higher self. Your actions produce imprints. Consciousness is absolute space, its fraction, energy particles, as well as the manifested universe. It is the mind and human as well as the essence of the Vedas. Almighty nature works as the ability to realize the higher self in human. Right, the whole process is till five sense organs. You are like each level, right? From three, let's say four sense to five sense. There is a hearing ability, right? Five reptiles do not have the, or they do not have the developed hearing ability. the animals have the hearing ability, right? So the nature wanted to enjoy itself, like, but at in the human beings, along with all those things, want to realize itself, right? And merging the mind with the consciousness is the purpose of the human life. Consciousness is God. The body is a temple within which the divine consciousness resides. You don't need to look for the consciousness anywhere. It is within yourself. Every individual is a mobile temple of consciousness. Temple of consciousness. Like in earlier temple, it's called temple of consciousness. So Maharishi has given a right name for the earlier place. Yeah. Earlier, anywhere, right? It's the temple of consciousness. Anywhere you create, it's called any buildings for the meditation practices and everything, right? It is called temple of consciousness. Homecoming of the soul. The soul went away its way home through the realization of the absolute space when the fact consciousness is God becomes evident. Love blossoms with God realization. The divine side works as the life energy particles. Okay, again, a summary. Circumstances often make the divine state suffer. The same divine state also allays the pain, the unsuffering. Love and compassion are manifestations of the divine. Yeah, it is important to realize all living beings are manifestations of the divine. Alleviate the pain and misery through compassionate acts. The absolute space is the home for all living beings. So, in short, it is the consciousness within that divine state, which is the source of everything, which is giving the results, which is giving the energy, everything, right? That is God, right? Merging that consciousness exists within ourselves, right? Within everywhere, but your mind, you can only merge with the consciousness that is within you, right? So merging your realizing that consciousness is very important, and this consciousness is the God, is the message from this topic. Any questions?
Just a comment, Prabhu. A very, very beautiful presentation and exposition of this idea. It really moved me a lot. It just brings me closer to me and to this idea of God. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Be blessed by the divine.
Be blessed by the divine. Yeah.
Okay, there are no further questions. We'll conclude our session. The blessings for the world. Blessings for the world. May rain pour on all parts of the world timely and sufficiently. May food grains grow abundantly to the satisfaction of all living beings. May the leaders of all nations progress in spiritual knowledge and do good service to humanity. May the whole world enjoy prosperity, happiness, and peace. May the whole world enjoy prosperity, happiness, and peace. May the whole world enjoy prosperity, happiness, and peace. Be blessed by the divine. Be blessed by the divine. Be blessed by the divine. வாழ்க வளமுடன்.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the session. வாழ்க வளமுடன்.
வாழ்க வளமுடன். Okay, with this we conclude today's session. வாழ்க வளமுடன். Have a good rest of the day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.